Hey, everybody. Welcome to Photo Share and Discussion number 231, April 29th, 2018. Almost the last day of April. One more to go, and then we're into May. So maybe April showers bring May flowers. I know a lot of the country's had a lot of rain, so lots of flowers to photograph here coming up, I guess. Hope everybody had a good week. I had a pretty good week. Very busy. Didn't do anything photographically other than think about getting some new equipment to help me in my photography, which I'll talk about here in a little bit. But finally, it's nice weather here this week. Weather kind of broke, and for the first weekend in a while, it didn't rain on a weekend, which was nice. So temperatures are warm and generally dry, or humid, low humidity, which for here in Georgia is a good thing. We're kind of in that sweet spot here for the next 4 to 6 weeks. Usually, by the time we get to Memorial Day, end of May, the humidity is kicked in, and we're pretty much locked in for the rest of the summer. So next few weeks are going to be prime time as far as the weather cooperates, at least, to get out and get stuff done without having to worry about losing 10 pounds as soon as you walk outside because of the humidity. So spring is definitely here, and I hope everybody had a good week. So we're at the end of April here, getting ready to head into summer. Don't know what everybody is thinking as far as travel plans or vacations and that type of stuff. We are pretty much set on heading up to, I think, Michigan. Yeah, we're going to be up in kind of near the Upper Peninsula of Michigan in, looks like July is the time frame right now. So we've pretty much got that dialed in, which will be a good trip. I think we're going to take we're going to drive up there and drive back, which means have a little extra room. I will plan on taking up the large format, well, obviously the digital cameras, but definitely the large format camera in addition to that. So and starting to think about it now, what our route might be going up and coming back. We could drive up in 2 days, 2 full days of driving. It's like, I don't know, 975 miles from here up to where we're going in Michigan. So it'd be 2 full days driving, but I think we're going to make it an extra day going up and stop somewhere a third of the way up or halfway up and spend an extra day at that place and then finish up. So there's a few places I want to, I've been thinking about going, so I just got to figure out where we're going to lay over and hopefully do some photography for part of that day at least, and probably some beer and other fun stuff as well. But looking forward to that. So I don't know if any of you guys have kind of thought about what you're going to be doing here for summer vacation. It's coming up very quickly, but hopefully you can plan something that involves some photography. That's it can be so tough to do photography in your hometown or in the middle of doing all your regular stuff. I know it can be a challenge for me to find the time, even though I have the time, I think, a lot of times, but you get in the habit of doing whatever it is, family, work, all the stuff that goes with work and the regular around the house type of stuff. I find I really have to plan for photography when I'm here local, when I'm in my, in the hometown doing everything that I do on a regular basis. I find it tough, although but I find it easier, obviously, when you're going out of town, especially if you're going somewhere that's new or different. It's always easy to find or to want to do photography. And sometimes it can be difficult to do it because depending on the nature of your trip, you might be family, friends, that type of thing. And maybe the family and friends or friends aren't into photography as much as I would be or we are as photographers. So you got to kind of balance that out a little bit. And I know for our trip here going this summer, we're going to be meeting with some good friends and hanging out for a few days. They're snapshotters, not photographers per se. So I'm going to have to work some time around to do some photography, because I'm going to be in a part of the country that I haven't been to in a long time. I was there as a kid, but I've driven through that part of Michigan once or twice in my adult life, but haven't really spent any time there. So I'm going to have to try to plan some time in and amongst or in between the hanging out with friends and doing all that. That's going to be the primary focus when we're up there. But coming and going from here up there and back, there's going to be a little extra time. So try to work in some time for photography along the way. So hopefully make use of the new I guess wide angle lens. Yeah, 90 millimeter lens I got for the 4x5 here last month. I need to get out this. Actually, I got my new park pass, parking pass for the local national park along the Chattahoochee River, which runs through Atlanta and North Georgia. There's a number of parks kind of set along the river in various spots, and I got updated the parking pass, so I'm good for another year. So I can go to any of those parking lots or park spaces along the river and park for free. Well, not for free, but have the parking taken care of, since I paid for it a year in advance. So maybe actually in the next couple of weeks, try to get out with the camera. There's a spot I've taken some shots in the past or last year. Actually, that would be interesting, because there's a spot I posted an image. I took it back in March or April of last year of a bridge. It was called Jones Bridge. It was an old kind of steel girder bridge that was half there, half not, kind of had collapsed part way. I made a few images of that last year, but apparently, actually it was about 2 months ago, the rest of the bridge collapsed. So it's no longer there. So I guess all that's there is just the stanchion, the pillar or whatever, the pier for the bridge. So that might be fun to go back and reshoot that scene, and just kind of compare it to the one I did last year. So yeah, that'll give me an excuse to get out with a 90 millimeter lens. Maybe I'll do that this week. Yeah, I think I will. The week's supposed to be nice here, and I might have some time Wednesday or Thursday early morning. Yeah. So there we go. I just set some time for photography. I'm gonna do that here this week. Get out with the camera and try to get used to using that 90 millimeter lens, the wide angle lens for the camera. So we shall see. But outside of that, yeah, I've just got a plan for upcoming summer trip and photography. And along that line, I've talked about it a few times here. Is my computer, the desktop that I use here, is how old now? Almost 11 years old. So it's getting old. It's an 11-year-old computer. It's a Windows computer, Windows 7, and still manages to run. So I'm thinking about replacing it, perhaps. Hey, Dennis.
How you doing, Mark?
Good. How are you?
Yeah. Just getting over the change in the weather here. It's cold again now.
Oh, you got rid of the nice weather, and now is it cold and cloudy again?
Yeah, outside it's raining and high winds, cold.
Oh, okay. Well, looks like you had some nice weather here earlier in the week. You got some nice images up. So
yeah, last week was excellent. It's nice and sunny.
Okay. Yep. I was just saying that here this week. It looks like the entire week, which is going to be the first week and probably 2 months here, that the entire week looks like it's going to be mostly sunny and good weather without rain. So
yeah, summer's coming.
Yeah, it's getting there. It's getting there. It's going to be here for us. It's going to be here pretty quick. We got about another month of warm but pleasantly not humid weather, and typically we've got the month of May, and by the time June 1st hits, it's hot and humid. So we've got a few weeks of good weather coming up. And I was just saying, I've got to get out with the Chamonix and try out that new lens here. So
yeah, when your weather changes, it doesn't usually change back, does it?
Well, February and March for us are kind of, well, end of mid-February into like first part of April, it can. I mean, we'll get warm weather and then cold and rainy, but it's not as severe as you guys. Yeah, you guys go from whatever you probably had, 20 degrees, 25 degrees centigrade down to, and then what? The cold and rain now, it's probably 15 degrees.
Yeah, it was 28 degrees last week, and then now we're down to about 12.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So you went from like 75 to like 40 degrees. Yeah. Okay. Wasn't and windy and rainy, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so you're coming into that transition period. Ours is generally for us would be comparable time frame would be like mid-February through mid-April. Usually by the time we get to mid-April, things have kind of firmed up and the weather is going to be warmer rather than colder, and it just kind of keeps going. And then by the end of May is when the humidity usually, you get all that moisture that comes up from the Gulf of Mexico. It makes it starts coming up, and then it just it's hot, and then it's just humid. So
yeah, I've been in Florida in August.
Oh, you will? Oh
no, I have been.
Okay.
And it when it rained, the humidity was something else.
Oh yeah, August in Florida. Yeah, ooh. You pretty much get rain every day there in August, and
you have some pretty good storms.
Yep, the storms build up. You can kind of see the clouds kind of bubbling up, and then lots of lightning, windy, usually a fairly quick thunderstorm, and it kind of dissipates. But then the humidity goes from humid to steam bath. I mean, it's literally just see the steam rising.
Yeah, I was in a hotel swimming pool, and there was like loads of people in the hotel swimming pool, and the sky turned black, and the lightning came, and everyone had left except the Englishman. No one told him that Florida is the worst for getting struck by lightning.
Well, obviously you survived. You didn't get struck by lightning, so that was a good thing.
But I soon twigged why everyone left.
Yeah. Yeah. So now we've got probably about a month or so of generally it's warm. We'll be, for us 70s to 80 degrees Fahrenheit, but low humidity. But usually by the end of May is when the humidity comes up, and then the temperature kind of bumps up a few more degrees, and then we get into June, and we're in the mid 80s and humid all the way through mid-September.
Where Joe is in Texas, he put some photos on showing the heat haze off the road. That must be unbearable down there.
Oh yeah, no, they're already. He's already over 100 degrees more days than not now. So yeah.
That's too hot for me.
Yeah, that's warm. I mean, when you start getting 100, especially 110, 115, like they get in the heat of summer, June, July, and August. It's just I'd almost rather have 85 and humid here than 115 and dry out there.
That's burning hot.
Yeah, it is. That's just literally just too hot. 90 degrees and humid is hot, but it's not the same as 110 or whatever. So, but the rest of the year, from October through April, it's comfortable weather there for the most part. And even in the middle of winter, they'll have highs in the 60s. So
yeah, I don't think we've ever had 100 degrees in this country. Can't remember ever.
Yeah, I think that would be unusual. But you've probably had a fair amount of days in the low 90s, I would think.
Yeah. But I don't think we've ever gone, like Europe. Europe does. I've been in Italy. It was over 100. It was unbearable.
Yeah. Southern Europe, especially Italy, Spain, Portugal, southern France, that type of thing. I mean, they always have multiple days of 100 degrees or more in the summer. Yeah. But you're far enough north and in the middle of the water a little bit more, so that kind of moderates things on the high end. You don't get quite as warm. So, so I was talking just before you popped in that I'm thinking about buying some photography related equipment. I guess it could be loosely related. I'm thinking about getting upgrading my computer or getting a new computer, I guess. And so I started looking at Macs. Okay, yeah, because I've got a MacBook which I've had for 2 years and I really like. So I started looking at desktop, iMac or iMacs or whatever.
Yeah,
and they're so expensive. And then I found a link for. Have you ever heard of Hackintosh? People, what they call Hackintosh.
No.
They take essentially they build their own Macintosh. So they take the components. They buy the Intel chip, they buy the motherboard, and they build it like you would a PC. But then they install Macintosh operating system on that. And so I've started looking at that, and that looks like it might be an interesting way to do it. But the problem is with Apple, whereas Windows, you have a Mac, so I mean but Apple doesn't.
I've had Windows, yeah. I've had Windows machine, but I got fed up having to reboot the system and reinstall it because of all the viruses what come in and out.
Yeah. So how long have you had your Mac then?
I've had Macs now probably about 8 years, maybe 10 years.
Mm.
Yeah, and I've never ever had to reinstall the operating system.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I've been pretty fortunate with my Windows 7. I mean, I built this machine I'm using. I built it in 2010. No, I built it in 2007. Yeah. So it's Windows 7 2007, and it's getting old. So
is it slowing down all the photographs you got stored?
No, not really, because I put most of the images on. I save them to a separate hard drive, an external hard drive.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm not saving them on the hard drive in the machine. I took out. It still has the original hard drive, but I added an SSD drive 2 years ago or 3 years ago, and just set that up. Installed like Lightroom and Photoshop on there along with the operating system. So it's primarily just a boot drive and a couple of the applications that I use, and it's working pretty good.
The SSD, are they fully electronic like Joe had?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. It's.
I read an article though, Mark, that if it goes wrong, they can't salvage anything.
No, it's pretty much. I mean, it's like a memory chip. I mean, there's no moving parts, so it's just a. So yeah, if it goes bad, I mean, I guess you could. There's probably people that can recover data from them.
No, I think if it goes bad, everything zeros. It's not like having a disk. If the drive goes, then they can take the disk out and probably install it in a drive where they can recover everything.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's probably a little more disastrous when they go.
Yeah.
But the rate of failure is so much less than a spinning disk. Just Yeah. So I upgraded to one of those a couple years ago, and I put Windows. I reinstalled Windows on the SSD drive and put in a couple of apps that I use quite a bit. Lightroom and that type of thing.
Did you do anything on a cloud?
Well, I use for work, especially almost everything I use is cloud based. I mean, I very rarely do anything software side that's on the actual machine. So work, all my stuff is cloud based. My planning software, my client management stuff, all the analysis stuff, it's all between that or Google. I use Google Sheet, Google Drive to store a lot of stuff, and their basic, there's Google Sheets, Google Word, and all that type of stuff is my primary.
Google computers are basically terminals, aren't they?
Yeah, you can get a Google a Chromebook, I guess.
Yeah.
But, I don't have that. I just use the Google service and access it, via Chrome, the actual Chrome browser. and do that. But the only thing I really keep on physically stored on the computer here is kind of the stuff that's like work in process. You know, if I'm downloading a file from somewhere, taking a look at it before I upload it to the cloud. So the stuff on my computer is not really work related, is hardly anything at all. And personal stuff is, the biggest thing is my music and my images.
Yeah,
that's almost all of it, and I've got that on a separate USB drive connected to the router, so I can access it from other parts of the house. But I've been looking at maybe doing Macintosh, but building it myself. So I'm just started investigating that, and apparently it works pretty good, but there can be some glitches where it's not as totally seamless as if you bought an iMac, directly from Apple.
Right. So, yeah. I know Apple, you don't have to buy the operating system, do you? If you've got the iMac, it automatically upgrades.
Mm-hmm.
It's free of charge every time they bring a new operating system out. It's free.
Yeah.
The only thing it does is knock out all your other software. You've got to buy all the upgrades.
Mm-hmm.
Like Photoshop.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. So that I'm just started investigating that, and I technically, I guess the app, even though you can download the the OS, it's technically only supposed to be used on Apple hardware. So if you download it and install it on a machine that you build yourself, technically it's software piracy.
Right. Okay. But I remember Microsoft saying that if they have to, that they were going to give their operating system away free because the competition was getting too good.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought, well, even if it was free, it's still crap.
Yeah, I've been pretty fortunate with Windows 7, but from what I hear, Windows 8 was a joke, I guess, and Windows 10 is not getting great reviews. I mean, it's been out for a couple of years at this point, and people are not real happy with it. So
I think Apple have got the edge because they actually build the operating system and the hardware,
mm-hmm.
whereas Microsoft don't make any computers, do they? I mean, it's just like their operating system has to go on so many different chips.
Yeah. Well, that was the thing. They were going to do whereas Apple, the operating system is free, but you got to put it on their equipment, which is higher end and higher priced. Microsoft was like, okay, we'll sell you the operating system, and then you can, supposedly it's going to be compatible with all this equipment out there.
Yeah, I found it wasn't too compatible with all the different chips I've had in these computers.
Yeah, I've been pretty lucky, but I've intentionally not upgraded to Windows 10 because I've heard that Windows 10 is just more buggy and just not as good as Windows 7 from a stability standpoint. So
yeah, I'd say Apple is quite stable. I've never really had any real problems with the system at all.
Yeah.
This I've got a 27-inch iMac, the same as what Joe's got, but it's got a terabyte drive, but I'm getting close. It's about 800 gig at the moment.
Okay. Yeah. So you don't have any external drives hooked up to it at this point?
Yeah, I have got an SSD drive underneath, but it's only 500 gigabyte, so it's already full up. So it's going to start knocking stuff off.
You're going to need to get another one. You're going to need to hook up another one.
Yeah.
Well, what you should get is one of those Western Digital or Buffalo or whatever. It'll be like 2 terabyte or 2 terabyte drives, so they'll kind of mirror each other. So they'll back up. You can put all the stuff on one; it'll automatically clone it to the other drive. And those are relatively. You can get like a 2 terabyte where it has two 2 terabyte drives in it for a couple $100 US.
Right. Yeah.
And that might be a way to do it. But yeah, I mean, the thing that takes up all the room is the images.
Yeah, are they SSD drives or are they just standard spinning?
No, they're regular spinning drives.
Yeah. It would probably be safer to use them.
Yeah, if you've got a backup, and that's why you get two, and then you just have one mirror whatever's on the other one, so it's always copying and backing up whatever's on the whatever you put the drive, you put all the stuff on, the other drive just copies it automatically.
Yeah, and, but of course the backup drive I've got here also carries the operating system. So when I bought this new iMac, I had the previous version.
Okay.
So I just plugged the drive in and it cloned it. It just puts everything you had on the original onto the new computer.
Yeah. It's so I've been kind of going back and forth and deciding. I think I want to, if I get a Windows machine again, I'll build it myself, like I did with the one I have now. I just bought the components and built it. And that was, it took me 2 hours, and I've had zero issues with the computer in 10 years or whatever, so it works fine. But I like my MacBook. I haven't had it. I've had it for a couple years and works fine. I've never had any issues with it. A lot less than I had. I had issues with my previous notebooks, but they were Windows based.
Yeah.
And
the issues I had with the Windows-based laptops was the BIOS battery going, so the operating system wouldn't load up. Kept reverting back to when it was first manufactured.
Yeah. But yeah, so I started looking, and I started looking at I went to Apple, the Apple page, and started looking at the Macs, and they've got the iMac. The iMac. Then they come out with a new iMac Pro, which I guess is it the 5K screen? I don't know.
Yeah, it's 5K. I think it's 5. Is it 7 cores now as well? Is it an i7 chip? Is it?
Yeah, that might be it.
That's why it's very expensive. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm going to click on the buy button. Let's see what an iMac Pro is.
I think they're about 1,800 here.
Oh no, this is the iMac Pro. This is a 3.2 gigahertz, 8-core, Intel processor, 32 gigs of memory. It has a 1 terabyte SSD drive, so it's not a spinning disk.
Right.
It's got a high-end graphics unit, Ethernet, Thunderbolt, 27-inch Retina 5K. Now yours is yours a 4K screen?
Yeah. My this is about 3 years old now. So
okay, so this iMac Pro with all this stuff, you can get it for less than $5,000. It's $49.99.
Yeah.
So, you get up to 18 months of special financing.
Yeah. I did look at a Microsoft desktop, which was really modern, great screen. What sort of came out on a like an angle poised lamp, and it was supposed to be excellent for photos, but it was about $3.5 grand. That's too much money.
Yeah. Now I can get the regular iMac. If I did the 27-inch, it looks like they're all 5K now. But yeah, the 27-inch with a terabyte of storage, which it is 8 gigs of memory, 1 terabyte Fusion drive. So it's like a combination. It's got small SSD and then a spinning drive, I guess.
Yeah. I think everything you're using goes on the SSD.
Yeah. The operating system and apps. Yeah. And this is $1,800 for that, for a 27-inch 5K display.
Yeah, see, we would pay £1,800 here.
Yeah. And then with a faster processor and a little bit, it's the same memory, it's just a faster processor, is $19.99. Man.
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
Yeah, it is. It is a lot of money. So that's why I kind of thought, well, maybe I could try, build another machine and put the OS on it and see how that works. Because I do like the Mac OS. I do like the operating system for sure. But I'm not spending $2,000 for a computer.
Yeah, and of course the iMacs run Unix systems as well. You can split your drive if you want.
Yeah.
All the open source software, all the free stuff runs fine.
Yeah. And that's the one thing that is kind of luring me to it. is because I have I built a little like music server for all my digital music files, and it's got it's a Linux based operating system for the file management system, and it works great. I can connect to it perfectly from my laptop, from my MacBook, but the Windows machine, sometimes it connects, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, I use OpenOffice as on my machine here, and that's free software.
Mm-hmm.
It runs absolutely fine. I don't know. I left Microsoft a long time ago. The problem with their stuff was when you stored their files, I don't think they had any permissions. Like on Unix, you can add permissions to who can access the files and do what.
Yep.
If you can read only, or you can read and write. And I don't think it was secure enough in Microsoft. I don't think they ever had the permissions on their files. They may well have now.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't really thought too much about it because I'm usually the only person using it.
Yeah.
I don't have to worry about permissions, but yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna have to think about this because I do like the operating. I definitely after using the Mac OS on the MacBook Pro, I do like the operating system. But I just don't want to pay $2,000 for a computer.
I don't know if there's any viruses out for Mac. I expect there must be some around somewhere, but I've never ever had a problem.
Yeah, that's the other thing. I mean, it's they're out there, but yeah, it's much less common than it is.
I've got virus software on the computer, but its main function is that if someone sends me anything from a Microsoft computer, if it's carrying malicious code, it's detected, because someone sent something to me the other day and it come up and said, stop, this file contains malicious code.
Oh, yeah.
So I can just delete it off. It won't affect this computer, but of course, if you send it to anybody who's got a Microsoft computer, it will.
Mm-hmm. Yep. No, it's there's a lot more bad stuff out there for Windows machines just because there's a lot more of them, I guess, and so it's kind of been the easy target as far as trying to build malware and malicious software.
Yeah, I don't suppose it helps when Microsoft goes, this is really secure. This can never be hacked. And all the students with the supercomputers go, took us at least 2 days.
Yeah, you never want to say never because when anybody says that, then that means that's just like issuing the ultimate challenge to anybody to
it is the satellite channels we got over here, obviously, like they're all encrypted.
Mm-hmm.
But the students were hacking the channels and putting the hex codes on the internet.
Oh, really? Wow.
So like you could watch free, but they changed their operating system from the satellite, and they go like, this is version 3. This is so secure it will never be hacked.
Yeah.
Yes, you're right. It took us more than 5 days before we hacked it.
It would never be hacked for 5 days, and then we hacked it. Yeah. It's made. Yeah. Anytime anybody says never, that just means it's just like putting a target on your back, basically.
Just a challenge.
Yeah, exactly. So that's my thing. I'm gonna have to start thinking about it. I'm gonna do something with it this year as far as a new computer, but I'm not paying $2,000 for one. So I've got to figure out. I've got to make the decision whether I want to stick with Windows or whether I want to go to the Mac OS. And if I do that, then I'm going to have to build my own computer and install the Mac OS on it, which I guess works pretty well. I've just started investigating that. But the lure is you can get the Mac OS with all its, the way it runs and everything.
It does run nicely.
Yeah. For the price of building your own PC, so you can get a really nice high performance machine with Mac OS on it for half the cost of a Mac.
Yeah. I don't know, because I've never tried to put Mac's operating system on a Microsoft computer. I suppose it must work because they're all Intel chips, aren't they? You know.
Yeah, they work on a lot, but not all. There has to be certain. So, like most of the Intel chips will handle it. The thing that you start running into problems with is like the motherboard, the graphics cards, that type of thing. You've got to make sure that they're, compatible, I guess, or at least have the right microcode in them or whatever that'll that the Mac OS will recognize, I guess, is the big thing.
I don't suppose Mac is ever going to give you the operating system free, like to hack. Yeah, they don't give you the source code.
No, you can download it for free, but the license agreement, the user agreement says you have to use it on an Apple produced machine.
Yeah,
so that's
I've never read that bit. So
yeah, well, it doesn't matter. You've got an Apple machine.
Yeah, I've got an Apple machine, so that's why I've never come across that. Never used it on a machine.
I've got to think about that, but yeah, that's probably going to be the next photography related piece of equipment that I do, which will be the upgrade. But yeah, the one thing I have noticed is my machine is just getting it's a little slower with Lightroom now. With the latest version of Lightroom and Photoshop that's come out through the Creative Cloud, it's taken longer. It's just tying up, and I guess I should expect that. The computer's 10 years old, so
of course
I'm like 6 generations behind. So
the other thing you can consider is that you can use your Microsoft operating system on an Apple.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
you can do that. Yeah, I actually have that software on my MacBook because there's a couple Windows applications that I needed to. I don't need to do it anymore, but for the last year and a half, I needed to run a particular vendor software that was only available on Windows. And
I did have a system where I could run Microsoft programs within the Mac operating system, but they never worked very well as far as I was concerned.
Yeah, I mean they worked, but they weren't. Yeah. At the bare minimum, they kind of worked, but just barely enough to qualify as working. Yeah, that's the thing. So yeah, that's my next big decision is to. I think whatever I go with, any upgrade, whether it's Windows or Mac, it will be a lot faster for the Adobe. I mean, that's actually the most intensive thing I do on the computer is the editing. Everything else it's cloud-based. I listen to podcasts, I watch YouTube videos. All the stuff I use for my business is pretty much cloud-based. So that's all dependent just on an internet connection, not necessarily high, computing power per se. But Lightroom and all that type of stuff, that's what sucks up the energy.
Yeah, I downloaded the GIMP from open source, and that seems to function quite well on the Apple.
Yeah, it probably does. But I downloaded that a number of years ago, and it's got a really steep learning curve, though. Man.
Yeah. It's not too much explanation, but there's a lot of YouTubers who have done clips about what does what. So. Yeah.
But I know it. I mean, it's a very lightweight application, so it doesn't. It runs quickly. There's not a lot of bloat in it. So
I think for open source, every time there's been a problem, then the coders have solved it. Each issue is solving more and more bugs.
Yep, exactly. Well, let's jump into the images here. Did you buy any equipment this week? No cameras or lenses or anything?
No, I tried to get some new chemicals. There's a company over here doing chemicals from Italy, which is called Bellini.
Okay. Yep.
And their E6 is the 6-bath, the proper E6.
Okay.
So it's a bleach and a fix separately.
Oh, okay.
See, with the Tetnol is a Blix, where they're joined together and they're most unstable, and that's what goes off.
Okay. Yeah, that's what degrades so quickly and ruins the whole batch. Yeah.
So I rang them up. They're out of stock, but they said it should be in this week. So I haven't developed the E6 films I took a couple of weeks back.
So how many do you have ready to be developed now?
I've got 2 rolls of 36 to do.
Okay.
I've also got the 4x5 cassettes loaded with E6.
Oh, okay.
I haven't actually taken them yet because I'm waiting for some, decent weather to to have another. I did experiment last week with some Formapan. I put the pictures up.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I want to get into that as we get into that because it looks like you did a couple different different dilutions. Is that what it was?
No, they were the same, but there's problems with that, Mark. I was going to ask the guys what they think has gone wrong. Now, I had this issue with the Ilford Delta 100. I developed in a 100 to 1, I think it was. But the negatives were like, they look like they're damaged, Yeah, so now the same thing's happened with the 4x5 on the Formapan.
Yeah, and I noticed that you've got some streaking going on. It's like banding. Yeah. Huh.
No, I only done those 2 sheets as a test. Yeah, as a. Yeah, I was going to develop it in coffee, but in the end, I've done it on in Rodinal, R09.
Okay.
But this is the way it's come out, which wasn't very impressive.
Huh. So, well, we'll get into that and take a look. But did you do it on the what did you do it just in a tray, or did you put it in
I've put my developing tank on so you can see it.
Yeah. Okay. So that's what you use. Huh.
Yeah, I've had no trouble with the developing tank itself because I've developed other stuff, including C41, and I didn't have any problems.
Huh. So I'm wondering, you just wonder if maybe that's like agitation, or was the film out of date, or was it a?
No, actually, that's the packet of Formapan 100, which I'm not too impressed with because if you look at one of those photos, there's like emulsion missing. I've had that before with the Formapan, which I've developed. It seems to have holes in the emulsion, as if it's not.
Yeah, I'm looking at those too. Yeah, well, let's get into that and take a look at that because that's kind of interesting. Yeah, and it's one of those things where you just never you can come up with some ideas as to what's causing it. But you never really know. So okay, so this was this is the last one from last week. This is Little Blue Heron, and then we go from the Little Blue Heron to Mr. Oh, is that a bird feed or on a platform of some kind? Yeah.
No, that's just a garden table, and that's a grey squirrel.
Okay. Yeah.
That's an import from the US, apparently.
Yeah, our grey squirrels are not common in. Oh
no, the grey squirrels are killing off all the red squirrels, which we had here.
The red squirrels are your native, so the grey.
Yeah, they devastated them because these squirrels are much bigger and they eat all the food.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. No, they are. This is our common squirrel. Our gray squirrel is everywhere. So okay. So
they seem to have taken over most of the country, but there are pockets of them. I think up in Scotland and I think there's measures now to try and save the red squirrel.
Yep.
Because they're putting feeders out for them, and if these guys get on the platform, it shuts the door where the food is.
Yeah, yeah.
The red squirrels are a lot smaller, so it doesn't close when they go on. So they can get the food.
Okay. Yeah, well, I hear, gray squirrel does make a good stew. So that's, there's always that.
Yeah, which is tree rats.
I make, it's a Cajun, New Orleans or Cajun dish called gumbo. And
that's squirrel, is it?
Yeah, squirrel is one of the common things to put in gumbo because it's just common. That's just, there's squirrels running around all over, so it's catch them and put them in a soup. So
yeah, I don't suppose You're going to get a lot of meat off a squirrel.
No, probably not. But yeah, it would take a few squirrel. It'd probably typical squirrel might be like 2 per person. You know,
Right?
they're kind of like quail. You know, when you quail, you got to eat a couple of them before you get anything because they're so tiny.
They're tiny, yeah.
Yeah, and the gray squirrels are, but there are some big. We have some big gray squirrels in our yard. I mean, they come up to we have a bird bath on our deck, and the squirrels come up and drink out of that, and they're good size.
If I'd had Wes's telephoto, where these guys were, there were some black squirrels, and apparently they're from America as well.
Yep.
They're a cross between a fox squirrel and a native squirrel.
Yep.
Yeah. So I've never seen a black squirrel, but I have now.
Yeah. No, we when I was up in a couple weeks when I was away up visiting my mother, they have for the last few years they've had a black, like lots of gray squirrels running all over the place, but there's one black squirrel, and it's still there. You see it running up and down. It's the only one with 50 gray squirrels.
Yeah, the forest I stayed in, there's a colony of them. They seem to there's loads of them in one area. Yeah, and the story was that someone had an exotic fox squirrel at the beginning of the 20th century, and it escaped into the wild, and it's crossbred. So,
yep, as fast as they breed, and if they're bigger than and the black squirrels are bigger than the red squirrels anyway. So once again, they dominate once they get out there. Now this is a nice shot. So this is just with your.
This was with the 90 mil Leica.
Okay.
Yeah, on the Sony.
So how far you were pretty close.
I was quite close to him, yeah, because I could have done with like a 200 or 400.
Yeah.
To get some of these shots, but yeah.
That's a nice detail. I mean, you can see the individual hairs on the feet and everything. Yeah, it's a nice shot for a pesky, yard rat. But
tree rat.
We got Woburn Garden.
Oh yeah, this is. I did put some more on from which I took. I haven't got really processing.
So this was okay, yeah. The 90 millimeter again, or
no? This was the Voigtlander 15 mil.
The 15, okay. Yeah. Nice. It looks like it's like a Japanese type of bridge, or is there a Oriental garden behind you here?
Yeah, this was the pagoda. I think I was standing in it.
Okay.
Taking a picture out onto this landed gentry estate.
And this is all the gardens behind the whatever that guy, the Duke of Sandwich or whatever.
The Duke of Bedford, yeah.
Bedford, okay. Duke of Sandwich.
Yeah. This is Woburn Gardens next to Woburn Abbey itself. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, look at that blue sky, nice puffy clouds.
It was t-shirt weather and walking about in 28 degrees. Yeah,
that's perfect spring day in the UK.
Yep.
And then today is the other perfect spring day.
Yeah. Now this is the Voigtlander super wide.
Okay.
It just shows a different perspective from the ones I put on last week. Yeah, and this is hyperfocal focusing. You don't have to do anything really. You can just
line it up and hit the button.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's that same building from a different angle. Looks like with all the plants growing out of the wall. Oh, it's neat. Yeah.
Mostly straight. I've got to get used to holding the camera straight.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you've only got to be slightly off, and then as you can see by that, it's got a tilt.
It's probably only a couple degrees.
Yeah, because I even had the artificial horizon in the viewfinder.
Yep.
But it was so bright and sunny, couldn't quite see it all.
Yeah. I mean, and at that wide of an angle, just a couple degrees, just gets blown out. I mean, it just gets magnified tremendously.
Yeah, if you turn the camera slightly to left or right, and then you're going to be bending everything.
Yeah. It's kind of neat, though. Nice perspective. You're probably only a few feet away from that gate.
I was actually standing right at the beginning of that framework.
This is okay. So this is the zigzag to keep bikes from going too fast, probably.
Yeah, and that was uphill. You wouldn't cycle up that too fast.
Oh, okay. This is.
But it was giving the depth, with the Voigtlander again.
Yep. Oh yeah, that's neat. That's a neat little pattern of the shadows going up the path.
See, I've got a lot of this on E6 as well because I wanted to see it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, when I develop the films, we'll have a look and see the difference between film and digital.
Yep.
The sky should be better, obviously, because I've had to turn down the highlights on all this.
So you took the which camera did you use for the E6 then?
I took the Leica
okay.
the M6.
Okay. Yeah, that would be an interesting comparison.
Yeah, the only thing was I was using the Zeiss 35mm, so it won't be quite the same. But
okay. Yeah, the perspective will be different.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh. Interesting. Oh, this is Insect Hotel.
This is what the forestry people have done, They want to promote the insects.
Okay, so you got all the little holes for the little bugs. Huh. That's kind of an interesting little.
Yeah, it's just a bug house. This was the Leica I think I used on this.
Okay.
Close shot. Yeah.
No, I mean that's nice. Yeah, lots of nice detail on that. Interesting structure. Very nice. Oh, there you go. And was this with your 90mm?
No, this is not mine.
Oh, that's Jose's. Yeah. Okay. No hummingbirds in the UK. Oh yeah.
The last time I saw that was in Barbados.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, this is Jose. I wonder what kind of hummingbird this is. Spring and time to bring out the macro and long lenses. So this is with a 90mm f2.8 macro. It was pretty close then. Look at this. I don't know what kind of. This is not a ruby-throated. This is a Western United States hummingbird. I don't know what kind it is, but it's kind of cool.
Yeah, I take it is auto-focusing this.
I would think so. Yeah, that's nice. I got a nice. Those wings move so fast.
Yeah, I've seen one in Barbados, and it was basically standing still with the wings going like a bee.
Yep. They. I guess it's taken on April 27th.
I suppose that's how they got their name, Mark, because their wings make such a noise, don't they?
Oh, they do. Yeah, I mean they're like it's like because we get them here. We have a actually I just saw one last week, and they've come back. We get hummingbirds. We have a little feeder on the deck, and they pretty much from April through October they're buzzing around. But yeah, they sound like giant wasps. I mean that same sound, just buzzing around, and they're fast. They're so fast.
Yeah, I watched one bouncing from plant to plant on the beach, and it was, and it really did, like you say, can fly sideways, isn't it? It just like zigzags everywhere.
Yeah, they're really, really amazing to watch. And they're tiny. I mean, they're only a couple inches long. So here we go. This is Simi's competitor, Nicholas.
Is it? Oh, right.
I think he's from. I think he's in France, I believe. But yeah, he's been posting images that are kind of similar to Simi, the long exposure. Oh, this is 30 seconds with a 6D 16 ISO 1600. That's a neat. It's a neat one. Kind of below the hill with the. Guess it's a lighthouse. Oh.
Yeah, that does look.
Mm-hmm. Nice. I wonder if he used any kind of external, like a flash or something like that to get this lighting on the hill. That'd be interesting.
Yeah, unless it's the light from the lighthouse itself lighting it up.
At Miller Point, I'm assuming. Yeah. Huh. That's neat. It's a neat shot. 30. What was the F9? Okay. 16 millimeter. Yeah, it's a pretty wide angle. Yeah. That's a nice shot. There we go. There's Jose with using his macro lens again. Yep. It's spring. Yeah, he's got pretty close there.
Yeah.
He's got focused on the thing there. The eyes are a little out of focus, and then you get focus on the back. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't got any macro lenses, but on the Bronica, I've got those extension tubes.
Okay.
Which get you in quite close.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's kind of cool. That's a neat image. Yeah, that's okay. So here we got so you've got basically a double. So does this hold basically a liter of solution?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it's a Paterson standard 4-reel tank.
Okay. Yeah, and I have a 2-reel tank. So I've got the one that holds 500 milliliters. I guess is what I have.
What you have to buy, Mark, is the red thing in the middle. It's called a Mod 54.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I don't know if you can see the little hooks.
Yeah.
It takes 3 sheets of 4x5 on each side.
Oh, okay. So, all right. So maybe that's the thing. So you can put like 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, and you clip it. You bend it, like bow it.
Mm-hmm.
Drop it in the first 2 slots. Obviously, you've got to do this in the light bag.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you put the next sheet next to it.
Uh-huh.
2 slots. It was a bit fiddly the first time I'd done it, but I've never done 6. I've done 4. I put the first sheet in the back slot, and then I put the next sheet in the outer slot, so there was a big gap between them. So I've done 4 at a time, and it works really well.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I have I'll have to show that next week or whatever. It's got it's a little different tank, but it'll do a maximum of 4 sheets. It's a specific tank 4x5.
Yeah, I see some on eBay, and most of them were in America.
Mm-hmm.
It had a tube. When you fill the tank, the liquid goes to the bottom and works its way up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then when you empty the tank, you emptied it by undoing a valve at the bottom of the tank. And so the only problem with it was, if you're doing a short time development, the bottom of the film gets more time than the top.
Yeah.
Because it didn't fill very fast. When you fill it up, it was a slow fill.
Yep.
So by the time it gets up to the top, the bottom's had probably 10, 15 seconds more.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you're emptying the tank, it's emptying from the bottom. And again, the bottom gets more development as the liquid level drops back down.
Yeah. So
this fills very fast. You can empty this tank out like a standard tank.
Mm-hmm.
So it fills instantly and it empties instantly. So it's probably better than the square tanks. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you do 4. Okay. So that how the film is getting in there.
Yeah. This shows you the film.
Now it's loaded. Okay. So it looks like this one you just loaded 1 on each side. Is that what you did?
Yeah, I did. Well, those 2 I've put on.
Okay.
That's actually them. after they dried, and I'll clip one back in to show you how it clips in. You know.
Okay. Yep.
And I found that you mustn't agitate it too much. I gave it quite a vigorous spin, and one of the sheets come off.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So the centrifugal force obviously forced out the clip.
Yep. Okay.
So the other thing I found, Mark, is if you do it really gently, just turn the spindle gently, it seemed to do 2 or 3 revolutions without you even touching it. It seems to set up some kind of motion.
Okay.
Yeah. I've never had one come out since. I just got to remember not to spin it too fast.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. So, all right. So here are the 2 on your viewer.
Yeah. Can you see the streaks?
Yeah, the streaks. I can see streaks on both. There's the streaks going across there. You got them there. And then this one has this spotting down. Well, it was over here, and
it's up the top as well. Spots. Yeah.
Okay. Huh. And that's too far in. I would think, well, maybe that's because of the clips, but that's not. The clips only come up right to here.
Yeah. The clip. It's not. It's definitely not the clips.
Yeah. Now you've had this. This is Fomapan. So I wonder. Yeah. So this is probably. Is that missing? Do you think that's missing emulsion there?
Yeah, I've scanned these negatives and put them up. So the next one should show you.
Yeah. Okay. So this is. Okay. Well, this looks like this was the sun. I mean, that's.
Yeah, that's sunlight, but up the top.
Yeah, right there.
See there? Yeah. When I had a close look at the negative, it seems that the emulsion's missing.
Huh.
Yeah, and I've had this before with the Fomapan.
Yeah, and then you can definitely see the banding. Here's a light area, dark area, light area.
I had some of this with the medium format when I was doing the C41.
Huh. Yeah, I wonder. I don't know what causes this. I had this once or twice, and I kind of posed a question, to the film forums or whatever, and everybody seemed to come back and say, well, it was agitation. And I'm like, well, that doesn't explain it, I don't think.
Well, it's too uniform, isn't it?
Yeah.
And these were clipped on the inner tooth, so it wasn't touching anything. It was
the clips kind of come in here and here pretty much.
Yeah. But you can see the sky as well. It's
oh yeah.
Yeah, I had this real grainy effect with the Delta 100 when I used it with this Rodinal.
Yeah, I wonder if it's maybe it's the Rodinal. That doesn't make sense though.
Yeah, I was gonna use HC110 because I've still got plenty of that. But someone on the internet said that it's not recommended for a Fomapan. So I thought, well, I'll use the Rodinal and see. I wouldn't recommend this.
Yeah, no, not unless you want a little artistic flair to your images.
Yeah, I just don't know what this is.
So on that one, and then this other, so you develop both of these in the same tank, right? At the same, just on.
See, this one hasn't got the holes in the emulsion.
No, it doesn't have a hole in the emulsion, but it has the streaking in the same spot, pretty much.
The same spot. Yeah, 2 streaks going straight down. Because it
almost like, well, okay. So when it's in the tank, let's go back. Okay. So the streaking on the finish is kind of like along this direction. So I wonder if
it's dead in line with Eclipse, isn't it, Mark? Yeah.
Yeah, kind of. But it's almost like when you because you agitate by twisting it, so it's going to spin around.
And I only spun it in one direction.
Yeah.
Because I think if you do it both directions, you got a better chance of pulling the sheets out the clips.
Yeah. So I wonder if maybe it could be agitate. Now, you don't flip the tank over. All you do is just would spin it. You don't flip. You don't rotate the tank over, right?
I didn't invert the tank, but I should have put the lid on and tried inversion rather than spinning.
See, because I have the same tank, but I have the half size, and I can spin it. But I've also tried, just doing an inversion, and once you put this lid on it, I mean, nothing comes out. I mean, it seals really tight.
Yeah, I'm glad you put it out, because looking at the clips, it's absolutely dead in line where the streaks are.
Yeah. So okay, so we got there and there. So if you go back,
I only turned it clockwise.
Yeah. So the clip is here, and the clip is here.
Yeah. So it looks like
the clip is interfering with the solution getting over the image. Yeah.
Yeah. It is. It's interfering with the agitation. It's the only explanation, isn't it?
Yeah. So I would think maybe the next time you do this, maybe try to invert instead of, because if you're spinning it, this in here it's kind of forming a wake. Maybe when you're spinning it, it kind of forms a wake, so the solution never gets. Yeah,
I reckon that. Yeah, that's stopping the solution washing over that part of the negative, but the other's free to get a good dose. Yeah.
So maybe it might be a case you might just want to maybe not completely invert it, but kind of rotate it. You have it standing vertically, and then you just tilt the tank 45 degrees, and then tilt it back up instead of doing a full 180-degree inversion. Maybe just tilt it 90 degrees and then tilt it back, and then next time tilt it the other instead of spinning it, and see if you get the same kind of do some more fomapan to kind of keep that.
Yeah, I will. Yeah, I've got plenty of it. What I'll do is I'll take the same photographs again, and this time I'll invert it, or I'll do a 1 hour stand on a really weak solution and see.
Yeah, no, I think it has something to do with this clip arrangement.
Yeah,
you're interfering with the solution getting onto the emulsion, basically.
Because I hadn't sussed it until you put that picture back up, and they're dead in line with the streaks, aren't they?
Yep. Yep. It is. So there's some that it's weird. You wouldn't think it would matter, but it almost like this plastic structure that is used to mount the film on is interfering somehow with
that must be acting like a paddle and forcing the solution away into the middle of the top.
Yeah. So I think it might be interesting to do the. At least maybe not, I don't know if you need, but if you could do the same shot, nominally the same shot on the same film, and then try inverting instead of spinning, and see what you get.
Yeah, because I'll remember then, because the same thing's going to happen with the positives. If I use E6 and I agitate, it's probably going to do the same, because obviously the outside of those clips is getting more solution washed over the emulsion.
Yeah. I think there's some negative result of having these clips somehow. Maybe are these clip when it's in the tank, these clip, I mean, this width here is probably almost the entire width of the tank. I mean, there's probably not a lot of room between the edge of the clip and the edge of the tank, I would think.
You wouldn't get anything between it, I don't think. You might get a sheet of film, maybe.
I wonder, that might be, maybe that's a design flaw. You would think maybe you would want there to be a little more room so the solution could wash around better. That might be the issue.
How many different brands of?
Hey, Joe.
Hey, how you doing, brother?
Good.
How many different brands are there
of
these tank deals?
I'm not sure. I know Jobo do one, but that would be on a machine. I mean, that'd probably be a machine.
This is Patterson. This is kind of the main one. This is probably 90% of people that do film probably use the Patterson system.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a modern tank as well.
Yeah,
because that looks like a serious flaw.
Yeah, I mean, and I think it's something. This here, there's maybe not enough room between the edge of this and the edge of the tank, so the solution isn't getting around. Because it does almost line up exactly with where the flaws are.
You know, when you put the picture, the actual picture up, you can see that it's a lot lighter at the top than at the bottom. And I only spun it in a clockwise direction.
Yeah. So
it seems that where the clip is going through the solution, it's forcing the solution away from the emulsion.
Yeah. It's not getting that section is not getting
when you're
the liquid.
Hey Dennis, when it's in the tank, is it upright the whole time, or do you put it this way and spin it? How and has it a hand spinning?
Standing like it is there.
Okay.
Once you get the film in the light bag and you screw that serrated lid on, then it's light proof. So all you use is this.
This thing here.
This thing here goes down a slot and turns it to agitate.
Yeah. So this thing will go through this slot, and then there's a little cog in the top of the holder here. And then you can spin it back and forth to agitate it.
And that's not a real fast spinning. It's just
no. If you spin it fast, Joe, you can actually force the negatives, like centrifugal force, out of the clips.
Oh, okay.
I've only done it once, and you have to be really gentle with the turning.
Yeah.
Okay. So
so I think maybe if you can do this again, and then instead of spinning it, just kind of invert the tank. Instead of spinning it, just rotate it. Tilt the tank itself instead of spinning the thing in the tank.
What I'll do, Mark, is I'll take the picture again and I'll use the same shrimp solution but invert, and then I'll put some more in and do a 1 hour stand with no agitation at all.
Yeah, and then just see if the the streaking, if it's there or if it isn't, or if it's at a different spot. Who knows?
No, it's good now that I've sussed that we've sussed this out, because I would have agitated the E6.
Yep.
And they would have all ended up like this, streaky.
Probably, yeah. I mean, if that's the issue, then the odds are that this would, and this is maybe you got a scratch, or that looks like a missing something with
the black spot is like there. No emulsion.
Yeah, there wasn't anything to develop. Yep.
Yeah. I've had that before on Forma Pen. Some of the others I've developed have got these black marks all over them.
Yeah. No.
Obviously, their quality control's not that good.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you've got like a streak happening, and at the bottom of that door, there's like spots.
Yeah. I don't know if that is a black spot. Another piece of emulsion missing.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that might be just in the scene itself. This up here is definitely something's missing there. And either a scratch or nothing was there to begin with. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll check tomorrow morning if that is a black spot there. Or whether there isn't any black spot.
Yeah.
Then we know it's emulsion again.
You got to clean your sensor, Dennis. You got to pull the dust off the sensor.
Man.
This is the sensor, Mark.
a big dot of dust on your digital sensor be the same thing.
Yeah. Now we've sussed this clip problem and turbulence.
Well, we've got a theory. Now it's time to test that theory and see
I got on some of my 120. Could be the same problem.
Yeah, it might be. Might just be the way you're agitating or the design of the clips.
Maybe we're doing inversions instead of spinning.
Yeah,
I've always used the spin. Yeah, but I've never had the problem with 35 mil. So maybe it's just that it's not such a large area getting developed.
Yeah, I mean there's so many variables in this. That's the fun and the frustration of film.
Yeah, that's great. I shall do my detective work and let you know.
Okay. Yes, I'll send you out and to do some research, and then you can write Patterson and say, hey, what the hell? Come on.
No, it's not Patterson. The Mod 54 is
Mod 54. Oh, it's a company that does it, huh? Yeah.
It's a separate company, and you just use a standard 4-reel Patterson tank.
Then you need to call the Mod 54 people and say, hey,
what up?
You got design flaw here. I'm suing. I'm having my attorney. You'll be there for my attorney.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably version 4 or 5 of that Mod 54.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone, before I bought it, everyone was going, how wonderful it all is like, but maybe it's not so wonderful after all.
Yeah, it might be fine. It's maybe you just have to add, not do it spin. Maybe rotate it instead of spinning it. Or tilt instead of spin.
Well, so I know Jobo do a tank for 4x5, but because it's not going to be any good for black and white, because continuous rotation is not good, is it, for black and white?
No, it usually is not. Yeah, that's part of their machine. Yeah, you got that machine. It's basically you put the tank on and it just sits on a belt and just turns.
Yeah, I've got a Jobo with the magnetic connection and the heat tank, but I haven't got any tanks.
Oh, okay.
So basically, I would stand this tank in the Jobo, which controls the temperature, and turn it. So basically, in future I'll maybe put the lids on and just do inversion.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to go to the website and I'll show you this. This is what I have for the for my 4x5.
Right, that looks like that fills from the top and
it fills from the top, and then it's got so it's got a vent and a fill, and you can pour it out pretty fast. I haven't had any streaking or anything with it.
The bots I see was an old-fashioned bots. It was square, with a fill at the top and a tap at the bottom for letting it out.
Okay, yeah. See, this is a fill and a drain on the top, and then the film just goes on these holders, so you can put 2 holders, so you can do 4 sheets of film, 1 on each side of these. But I've never done more than 2. I've gotten paranoid. I do 1 on each side of each one of these, so I can do 2 sheets at a time.
And they clip in okay, do they, Mark?
Yeah, they just slide in. There's a real thin.
They slide in like a holder. Yeah. Yeah,
they slide in like a holder, and I haven't had any issues. And I don't do a full inversion. I just kind of do a 45-degree tilt and back the other way, and then set it down and tap it, get rid of the bubbles, and then do it again. And it seems to work pretty good.
Right.
Yeah, it's gone up in price. I didn't pay 87. I paid like 59 for mine, but that was a year ago. So,
yeah, that mod 54 is quite expensive to buy. It's about £50, 45, £50.
Yeah.
But I got mine on eBay anyway. I didn't pay that.
Yeah. Yeah. I was looking at that. It was either the Patterson with the Mod 54, and I think by the time because I only had the half tank, so I would have had to buy the double stack tank anyway. So with that would have been like $110. So I'm like, well, no.
Yeah. I mean the tank was about £30, I think.
Yeah.
But of course the tank, I can put spirals in it. I can do 120s and 4 35 mils. So.
Yeah. So you can do 2 120s or 4 35s in this. Yeah. And I thought about that, but I ended up just getting the half size because I never, I've done 2 35s at once in there once, and it worked out fine. But other than that, one at a time seems to be fine for me.
Yeah. When I developed the E6 for the 36 rolls, I'm going to do 1 at a time. Because if it cocks up, I know I'll still salvage the other roll.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's been my my theory is I'm just going to do 1 at a time. That way, if I screw up, then I'm only messing up. It takes me twice as long, but it's not like I shoot a ton of film. Anything I do, I can develop in an afternoon, even if I have to do it in 2 sessions. That just means I have to get another beer.
Yeah. Well, I think
why rush it? If each development is just about enough time to drink a beer. So if I have to double up, then that means I have to drink 2 tasty beers instead of 1.
Well, that's why I like the stand development myself, because you can go and have your lunch while it's doing it.
Yeah, that's enough time to come and set it up and then drink a 6-pack and then come back. It's about ready to go.
Yeah, that's yep.
All right, Joe. So, do you have new photographic equipment? You kind of hinted at it.
Yeah, I have, and I actually just walked in the door with more photographic equipment.
Oh no!
So that I just got home. So I have photographic inspirational type of equipment.
Okay. All right.
Which would be my first canned stone Enjoy By.
Oh, there you go. Yep. Enjoy by 420. So you're already like 8 days. You better drink that right now. You're like 8 days.
Yeah, I did kind of get it to it. Now I'm off tomorrow.
Okay.
Tomorrow, but that's to go to the dentist, which is another thing I'm not looking forward to. So either way, I'm not looking forward to tomorrow. But I figured, I could drink this, later today or tomorrow. I'll put it in the fridge. But that's why I only got one can. But I just got it mostly because it's my first canned Enjoy By.
Oh, okay. Yep. I've only seen just the bottles. Yeah.
So, and then more, and then here's another one, another New Belgium, Agua Fresca Cerveza.
Oh, okay.
So, another new Mexican, Mexican style.
One Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Oh, you know what? Saturday is, Joe. Saturday is the 5th.
Yep.
Oh, man, we're hitting that right on.
Yeah.
Cinco de Mayo on Saturday.
I've got my Mexican style beer. Okay. I am ready. And then
the Mexican holiday that nobody in Mexico celebrates.
Right, exactly. It's an American Mexican holiday. Yeah.
American Mexican.
Totally American Mexican holiday. But that's fine. None of us care. You know what I'm saying? I mean, but here's another variant on the Abyss that I found. Aged 10 months in tequila barrels.
Ooh, there you go. Now, are you a tequila drinker, Dennis? I don't.
No, afraid not.
No. Smart man.
No, but my photographic equipment is I have one Dennis that's in the box, which is a stretch, but it is photographically, it's a filter. It's a filter.
It is a filter. That's true.
It's a filter. So, but it's one of the filters that you use for your home AC unit. So, it's and since I shoot out of my house, it's photographic.
Yeah, it keeps the dust down. It keeps the dust down in the house, which
we don't need them here, Joe, because if we want cool air, we just open the window.
Right. So my other piece, I got 3 pieces of photographic equipment, including those filters, which is a stretch, I admit. But the other 2 are directly photography related for me. Another one is a rolling stool that's pneumatic, so it's adjustable, which I have another stool that I use, but it's only a 4-legged wooden stool, and I have to move it around every time this one's pneumatic, so I can adjust it to pretty low too. It'll go about yay high.
Okay.
And still be able to roll around nice and easy, which makes it easier for me when I'm shooting indoors, definitely. And the other one is a big, not quite 6 foot, but almost 6 foot leaning mirror. One of those real nice tall leaners that has the wooden frame around it and everything.
Oh, okay. So like a photo, not really a prop. Well, it is. It's kind of
It's a prop, plus it helps the girls or the people, whoever I'm shooting, get ready. A lot of I've been not shoot out, but just kind of in fun shoot out, because I have not had a full size mirror in this house. In my other home in Albuquerque, you've even seen my photos with the mirror.
Yeah. No, I think it would make sense. That would be a good prop for shooting the models, by the way, and also for like the makeup and all that stuff. You can have a full length mirror, basically.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It comes in handy for a lot of things.
We're going to get a lot of pictures of selfies of Joe now.
Yeah, exactly.
On the stool, rolling around.
Yeah, a lot of my photos before, I don't know if I have any in here with that. Yeah, actually, the one that's directly behind me right here.
Okay.
That one is with my old mirror, and that's how I capture that. I'm able to capture her, like from behind, from the side behind version, and then her looking in the mirror, which catches the front of her, you know. So that's what I used to do. Or I would have them facing me and then get their behind in the mirror, you know.
Okay.
So
all right. Yeah, have the mirror behind them then.
right.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, that's all photography. 2 out of the 3 are photography related.
Yeah.
The third one is
well, and my 4th and 5th pick as well are photo inspiring. They kind of like
enjoy those while you edit images. Yeah.
Yes, and they help you get in the zone, in the mood for which actually I got another one. I got a center channel speaker today, another Clips, of course.
Okay.
So that'll bring out make my highs a lot cleaner for Dennis, are you an audio guy or a home theater guy?
I've got both, Joe.
Oh, okay. So
well, obviously in the 70s and 80s, it was all just keep buying hi-fis.
Right.
You always must have the best one, you know.
Right, yeah. So it's
and of course, as things change, then you get your 7.1 surround sound television, you know, where you can have the Saving Private Ryan tanks rolling behind the couch, you know.
I've been getting back into that, and so yeah, I bought a Clips center channel, which definitely, Mark, I'm telling you, combined with my iPad, with my Apple Pencil now, really is it's the coolest thing ever to just sit there on the sofa, enjoying my 2.1 system. I do have all my speakers hooked up now, so it's kind of like a 9.1. But I just have it broke down to the 2.1, and then now with the center channel, it's just gonna boom, and then I can just sit there with my Apple Pencil and edit photos, kind of for fun right now. I don't have any shoots or anything I'm working on hardcore.
I take it you've got a detached house then, Joe.
Detached?
Yeah, it's not attached to another house.
Oh no, we're attached by property, but that's about it. Like,
Like you got no neighbours above you or next to you.
No,
with the dynamic sounds.
Right. Yeah, I have what is called here in America your typical standard single family home.
Right.
Yeah, it's a detached home. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, absolutely. See, in this country, you have semi-detached, where you would have 2 families
sharing a wall, basically
2 houses next to each other, and an adjoining wall, you know, between.
Right.
Yeah, and then you get terraced houses where they all join together.
So you share 2 walls, basically.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, right. And then you get your detached house where there's no neighbours. You know, they're further down the road.
Right. Yeah. That would be my. That's a typical suburban neighborhood here in America, I would think. You know, is your typical kind of. I have a cookie cutter house. You know what I'm saying? It's a big builder that you know, has, I don't know, let's call it, you know, 7 or 8 different basic plans, and then you can kind of customize inside those plans a little bit. But
you choose when it's being built,
yeah, and it's but mine was already built. Mine was already built and up and everything. I just basically walked in and said, "Yeah, it's cool, buy it." You know what I'm saying? So took all the hassle, all the waiting and everything out of it, which was fantastic for me. So everything was already done. The yard. In these homes, like typically, it's you know, some builders ain't the same way, and some states and some cities aren't the same. But typically, these big cookie cutter builders will do your front yard for you, and then the backyard is just bare. It's just dirt. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you move into your new home, and for years you will sit there looking at dirt. You know, so it was a big priority for me to move into a home and have everything done. The backyard included everything. I didn't want to have to do anything, and that was this home. just everything was done, so I didn't have to.
Yeah, they used to do that here, Joe. You'd buy a house, the front garden would have grass and be lawn all done, but the back would have nothing.
Yeah,
you have to do it yourself. Yeah,
yeah.
But of course, as things went on, they started cost cutting, and then you didn't get any tiles on the floor. You know, yeah, and you have to do your own decorating. They've done absolutely nothing.
Yeah, there's some neighborhoods don't even do the front yard, and you've got to move in and do everything.
Yeah,
which is a little more rural type living, but there are those neighborhoods.
Yeah, I think a lot of the neighborhoods have, they've got homeowners association rules that the front of the house has to be landscaped to certain standards, so everybody meets the same. And in the back, you have to have a fence, and whatever's in the back is your own deal.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Good. So Joe's got some photographic equipment. I don't know if you heard before you popped in, Joe, but I've been looking at replacing my computer, and I'm looking at a Mac, but not buying a Mac. I'm looking at it's called a Hackintosh, where you basically buy the components and then install the Mac OS on it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I'm thinking about that because I'm not paying $2,000 for a computer. There's no way.
I didn't either. If you remember, when I got this, I got it on one of those year-end sales. It wasn't Black Friday, but I got a fantastic deal on this. I saved, I don't know, $500 or something like that on this computer. Got a fantastic deal at Fry's Electronics, which is where I got my sub as well. Saved a ton of money there. Just one of those deals. Just kept shopping and looking, and then seeing that sale pop up at Fry's, and Fry's is such a fantastic place, isn't it? I mean,
yeah, they really are. I mean, it's almost. They have everything, and you're like, how can the store have all that stuff? A lot of that stuff just you wouldn't think would sell, but I'm sure it does because they wouldn't stock it if it didn't. But it's got some amount of everything. It seems like.
Yeah, it seems like, honestly,
it's just crazy. Yeah, and
a little bit too much.
Yeah. Sometimes it is a little bit too much, but you just decide what you want, and you just have to keep your eye open for any sales or closeouts or that type of thing.
It's the type of store, Dennis, that it's a warehouse sized place, and you walk in it, and they just have everything. Like it's even hard to you could want, like we were talking about earlier, I think it was just me and Mark talking about it, but in any case, tube amplifiers, I bet you could get a tube for a tube amplifier there on one side, and then on another side, you get, you name it, speakers, buy a fridge, you could get furniture. It's just the weirdest little, it's not a little place, it's a huge place. But it's just the weirdest place, Dennis. Like, you could get, if it's electronic, I bet you they have it.
Yeah.
Let's just put it that way.
It's like a
toys
cross between like a Best Buy, a Radio Shack, and I don't know, like a Sears home appliance thing. It's
they have like treadmills, like exercise equipment. I mean, and just oddball stuff, like I say, furniture and candy, like the biggest candy section ever. You're like, what?
Yeah.
Well,
if you're buying a computer, you got to have candy. I mean,
yeah, candy seems to go with anything, right? Yeah. And they'll have like a play center or like a babysitting area for the kids, while you're shopping. And they have like 5 million registers. Like, that's the only thing I kind of don't like about it is, you walk through this long line sort of deal, and then they've got, I don't know, what is it? Honestly, 20, 30 registers?
Yeah.
And then each register will have like a light pole sort of thing, almost like a street light sort of thing. So you have like a red and a green. And when it's red, they're not ready. And then when it's green or white or whatever the color is, then they're ready. And so you walk up to that register, and it's
yeah.
I don't know. That part kind of feels like your cattle kind of shuffling through something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when you go through the line, then there's more candy. They all got all the candy you can buy when you're walking through too. If you missed the candy in the display in the store, then as you're going through the line to check out, then there's candy everywhere else too.
Yeah, so there's candy everywhere.
You gotta buy candy.
There's candy and all kinds of candy. It ain't just like it's all kinds of candy. It's just and when they have a deal, Dennis, they have deals. I mean, wow.
Yeah, they're not going to be any good to me, Joe, because our voltage is twice the amount of yours.
Yeah, well, that's the surprising. Like my sub is dual voltage, so my sub could be used over there as well. Yeah.
Yeah. See, most like American appliances wouldn't work here. We'd have to have a step down transformer on it.
Yeah, right. No, you're right. It's but nowadays companies see the value in making something that's either dual voltage or even 3 different voltages. You know, they see, because they make one product and it's good for the world, for the globe. So that's you know,
they put the step down or step up transformer in it, and you just flip a switch basically.
Yeah, that's all you do on the back. You just hell, my receiver, my AV receiver that I bought 28 years ago could be used anywhere in the world. Yeah.
Yeah, see, most of Europe and this country is 240 volts. So
yeah. When you think about it, most of the computer products that we buy it can be used anywhere. It just takes a different attachment.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's that whole thing is changing, or it has changed a lot.
Yeah, I know a lot of electronic stuff, like the shavers you use now. You can plug it in any voltage and it'll charge up.
Yeah. Yeah. It some of that's been taken away just by stuff being able to be used by USB.
Yeah.
You know, so a lot of it's just low voltage, period. You know?
Yeah.
So which is great.
It's powered by USB, it doesn't matter. Yeah.
Right.
It's 2 volts anyway.
Yeah.
Whatever it is. So all right. Well, hey, good show, guys. I've got oh wow, yeah. Ooh, dinner. Ooh, I'm surprised I haven't been yelled at by the chef yet.
I'm watching this hockey game right now. We got Nashville and Winnipeg. Winnipeg's 2-1 right now.
Okay.
In the first.
I haven't watched too much hockey.
I can only watch stuff on the weekends, and that's it. You know.
Yeah.
But
how about you, Dennis? You a hockey fan?
No, afraid not. Although in our newspapers this week, isn't some guy trying to buy Wembley Stadium so they can put American football on?
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Yeah, I think there is some rumblings towards the end of the season, the end of our NFL season, about that sort of thing. Yeah, that was
so some American concern buying Wembley Stadium, and then they're going to put NFL games in there.
Yeah. Sounds like
trying to. Yeah, they really want that bad. I don't know why, but
yeah, they seem to be pushing American football over here quite a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, it's exactly that. It's a push because not a lot of us want it, and it doesn't seem like a lot of you guys want it. And
yeah, we only play proper football here.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Proper football. There. All right, Mark, I'll let you go, man. I'm out of here. I gotta.
Cinco de Mayo, Dennis. I know you'll celebrate that heartily on Saturday, right? Cinco de Mayo.
Oh yeah, and we actually done some photographic stuff tonight, Mark. You know.
Yes, we did. We did.
Yeah.
And maybe you can get your experiment taken care of in the next week or two. I'll be interested to see what the results are.
Yeah, I'll give it a try. Yeah.
All right. Sounds good.
See you, man.
Dennis, thank you. And Joe, we will see you later. Take care, guys. All right. Bye.